Confession time. I used to have a mini avalanche of shoes in our entryway coat closet. Whenever a guest would come over, I'd quickly offer to take their coat for them so they wouldn't open the door and see the pile. That's when I stumbled upon this genius shoe storage idea using simple recycled boxes. So if you're tired of the chaos and want something functional and nice to look at, let me show you how to make these DIY stackable shoe compartments out of shoe boxes. Before you build anything, decide on a color scheme. Cover the boxes with matching contact paper, paint, or even wrapping paper for a polished look. Neutrals like linen and beige or bold patterns like faux marble can make the whole setup look high-end. I found this super affordable fabric in a timeless black and white pinstripe pattern, and that's what I'm going to use. Once you've wrapped everything in your fabric or paper, you'll take one shoebox lid and place it on a flat surface, inner side facing up. Then take the matching box, flip it on its side, and slide it into the lid so it's standing tall like a cubby. Repeat this for each box and lid set. You can use hot glue or double-sided mounting tape to secure the box to the lid, especially on the sides and bottom. I used hot glue. For extra stability, you can even cut a piece of scrap cardboard to fit inside the lid underneath the box before gluing. This reinforces the base. Use the largest or sturdiest boxes as your bottom layer. Stack 2 to 3 boxes high. Going taller than 3 can make the whole thing tip unless you anchor it. If your boxes don't feel secure, you can use heavy-duty glue between the layers to secure them in place. You could also add a weighted base. You can even place the unit against the wall or use removable wall anchors or command strips for extra stability if you have kids or pets. This easy, budget-friendly DIY transformed my messy coat closet into something I'm actually proud to show off. You just need some old boxes, a little creativity, and a few glue sticks. The best part? It's totally customizable to your space, your style, and your needs.
Is your closet a hot mess? Maybe a little disorganized and cluttered? Well, today we're going to go over some tips, tricks, and hacks. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove everything from my closet. So I want to be able to start with a clean slate. So I'm going to remove all the shoes, the coats, everything on the shelves, completely gut it. Once everything is out, you can see how much clutter and mess was sitting inside that closet. But before we go through that, we need to clean our space. So we're going to start by cleaning out the closet. So I grabbed my vacuum cleaner first, and I'm cleaning the floor of the closet as well as the baseboards. And then I'm also going to vacuum off the shelves and the entire closet first because there's a lot in there that needs to be sucked out first before I can get a nice, efficient clean. Next, I'm going to take a damp rag and I'm going to wipe down all of the shelves, the hanging rack, the floor, the baseboards, the walls, and get it nice and good and clean. I'm going to place a shoe organizer into the bottom of the closet. And I'm going to look at all the shoes we have. What I've calculated is each family member, and there are 4 of us, can have about 4 pairs of shoes that will fit on a shelf. So each family member gets a shelf and 4 pairs of shoes that you use the most often. Now I'm going to teach you a little thing my mom had taught me, and I pass this on to my kids. So I'm going to take my mittens and place them into my hat. So I'm going to squeeze my scarf into one sleeve of my coat, and then the hat and mitten combination I'm going to put in the other sleeve of the coat. So place your snow pants onto your hanger and then place that inside. And now your whole outfit is complete. Now we're going to talk about some of the things we can do with the shelves. And one of the things I like to do is get some white baskets, and I can even write the name of the family member on the basket so they can reach up and know that that's their basket. My husband has a lot of hats, so I'm going to place hats in one of his baskets, and you can stack them or you can fold them up, whichever you prefer, and place them in there. The same can be done of any hats, gloves, scarves, anything like that, and you can have a basket per family member on the shelves. Another way you can hang up some of your accessories is to get a dollar store trash can. I placed chalk stickers on the front of those trash cans and labeled each one with our names on it. Then inside of our laundry room, we have a coat hanging rack. Above that, I've placed 4 command hooks so that each family member has their own command hook. And then I placed the trash cans on the command hooks. Now our coats are on the coat rack and our hats and mittens are above that. And I can swap this out seasonally. We like to use over-the-door hanging racks. And some examples of the things you can put on those racks are hats, coats, backpacks, and if you have wet gloves or wet hats from being out in the snow, you can set them to dry up on those. Now we run out of room for our cleaning supplies inside of our closets as well, but we need some place to hang them. And this is where those over-the-door hanging racks come in handy. You can also place an over-the-door shoe organizer, but we can also place hats and gloves, cleaning supplies, as well as sunglasses. So many possibilities. Another idea, if you run out of space, is to place your winter items or your summer items in a tub and store them until it's the season and swap them in and out. So you can stack them in your basement or storage space.
I got so tired of all the mess at the front door, so I grabbed a 1x3 pine board and cut it at 48 inches. These are going to be the rails for my next project. I'm going to go ahead and run the tape measure out. I'm going to do a marking right at the end at 16 inches, 24 inches, 32 inches, and 40 inches. I need to drill these so I can put some dowels in them for supports, but I'm going to line all 3 boards up so I can get the same markings. Once I got the markings on there, I'm going to measure and mark the middle of the board. Using a drill bit that's 1/4 inches wide, I'm going to drill through them on each one of those lines in the center of the board. Next, I got to build the shelves. I'm going to cut all of these at 11 to 11 1/4 each. Now, my saw doesn't go all the way through, so once I make those cuts, I'm going to flip the board over and then finish cutting each one of these. Then I'm going to line all the shelves up and mark at 5.5 inches, which is the middle of the boards. Again, using my speed square, I'm going to run a line, and then I've got to drill a hole, but I don't want the drill to go too deep. So at the 1 inch mark, I'm going to put a piece of tape. That's going to give me a stopper and tell me when to stop drilling. So I drill down. Right when the tape hits, I pull it back out. And I'm going to do this in the middle of my lines on each of the boards on 3 sides. Once I got the holes marked, it's time to insert the dowels. But I'm not going to use those grooved dowels. I want a smooth piece of wood. It's going to look a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on each end of the dowel. Just run that wood glue in there and on that end, and then put it right down inside. It'll slide right inside there. You're going to do this to all the holes and all 3 sides. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take that first board on the railing, and I'm going to push it through. Once I start getting the shelves on, it actually goes pretty easy. Just look under, line them up, and just using a mallet with light taps, I'm going to push them all through. Now, if they come out too far, you can just sand them down, or you can just use a flat saw like this, cut it down, and use a sandpaper and get it nice and smooth. As you can see, you can't even see it. Next, I want to put a railing on the top with a little bit of the scrap wood I have left. That way I can put some items onto my top shelf. I'm trying to go as nailless and screwless as possible, so I'm using clamps and glue to hold it in place. If I have any excess glue, just wipe it off. Next, because it's pine, I want to pre-stain the boards. This is a simple and inexpensive way to do it, and it makes the staining look really good. I'm going to let it dry for about 40 minutes to an hour, and then I'm going to apply the stain. This one's called Colonial Maple. I think it has a nice shiny color to it, but not too dark. Once I get that stain all on, I'm going to put it all over the shelves and the sides, and you can see the dowel there. I'm going to bring that thing inside and start time to clean it up. I can put all my shoes on there, including a longer shelf at the bottom for my boots. And here's the top shelf. Remember those sides? Holds it up, and I put a rack on it to hold my backpack. I think this shoe tower turned out great. I hope this inspired you to build your own pine wood shoe tower.
I grabbed 3 empty soda containers from my home, and then I hit the dollar store and bought mesh cups, this rack with hooks, a couple of these soft storage boxes, and these cool planting pots. I have this closet that isn't really used effectively. It's more of a catch-all for things I don't want to deal with. I wanted to make this space much more organized and usable, so I took everything out, measured the dimensions inside, and realized it was about the size of an IKEA tabletop I had. The table fit almost perfectly, but I did have to have my husband cut a little piece off the end so that it would fit around the frame of the door because it was just a little too big. Once I got the table set up, I started using the tension rods to store my ribbon. I just removed the rubber stopper from the end of the tension rod, slid the ribbon roll on, and then mounted the bar between the back wall to the front wall. That saved a bunch of space and allowed me to see all my ribbon at once and pull it as needed. After that, I got to work on my soda boxes. The first step was to cut the top off. I then wrapped the boxes with fabric, much like you'd wrap a present. I didn't want to sew anything, so I just folded the edge, applied hot glue with the glue gun, attached it to the container, and wrapped it around. I folded the ends at the bottom, and then at the top, I just tucked it in. You could also choose to wrap the box with wrapping paper or even vinyl sticky paper. These made perfect holders for my wrapping paper. For my gift bags, which I have traditionally just kept inside of another gift bag, which then gets all torn up and worn out, the storage box from the dollar store was perfect. I knew I wanted to keep the tabletop as clear as possible so that I could use it for crafts or for wrapping gifts. So the solution was to attach my planters to the wall and use the wall space inside the closet. I thought these planters looked like a honeycomb, and so I tried to put them together in that same way. It was fun to create a little theme in this small space. Once I had all my pots attached, it was time to install the row of hooks that I'd bought. I used some of the hooks for items like shrink wrap for baskets and wine bottle bags, but on the other hooks, I hung the wire mesh cups that I'd bought. I set everything up, adding gift tags and light items to the cups, filling my honeycomb with supplies that I wanted to have easily on hand, like smaller gift bags, tape, my glue gun, and colored mesh. I added scissors and my favorite pens for gift tags so that I could always have these at hand. And here it is. What a difference a day makes. Everything's organized and I have it easily accessible. It only cost me $20 to get this done. It may cost you slightly more if you have to buy the $3 tension rods or if you have to buy a $30 table to put in.